obvious move, not you. Black has one move that draws. Good luck. You only got 4 legal moves, so there's like 5 of you. There's like 6 people at home watching. So. Now, while they're thinking, I want to make a correction to a previous video. In the first video I made here, which was published about a week ago, I beat a German guy in the last round, taking away his IM norm in the Netherlands, and I said after the game, the Germans bought me a beer. Incorrect. The Dutch bought me a beer. That's a German. Horrible. I watched my videos and I'm like, no, that's not what I meant. God. Germans didn't buy me a beer. I can't tell you what the Germans did. It's tough. Okay, so after that commercial message, what is the drawing move for black? Not you. Get out of here. Wait, you're pretty high rated. You. Not Ben Simon. Claudio, what's the move? Yeah, E4. Now black's threatening to win. Only white has to play king F4 and draw. No. So white takes the pawn, and then we take and have the opposition. Yeah, you agree. Yeah. Okay. So king takes G7 loses. King G8 makes king takes G5 not work because of E4. So now this move's hard to find, unless you've seen it before. I'll let you answer because you're high rated. King G4. Do you remember this or no? Yeah, okay. King G4. Now, if you play King G7, I said if. We already looked at this. It was with King G7, King G5 without the King G and King G thrown in. Okay? So that loses. Some people play E4 here. That also loses. Takes, and opposition. Okay. So black has 2 moves that are equally good, and they're the same. So we'll just play one of them. There. Okay. Now, usually when I show this, they go, ooh, queen. That don't win. You can play queen. I recommend knight. Knight. Let's play knight. Okay, takes. Now, maybe I shouldn't have taken. No. Okay, and now, after king takes, how does black draw? Is there 2 moves that draw? No, just one. Let's see, hold on. Yeah, only 1 move draws. No. That totally breaks the Feingold rule. King F5 wins and King F6. What are you talking about? What's wrong with you? E4 looks interesting because it's right. And then takes, and then King G7's opposition. Okay. So the way to win is actually funny. After King F7, we can take on G5 now. If we go back to this position, when I took on G5, E4 was the drawing move because Claudio said so. And he was right. However, in this position, E4 does not draw because white has a move that was really bad in that position, but now wins. Although with the king on G8, it's really bad. But here it's great. Chess is hard. White has 1 move that wins. King H6. Now, if the black king is on G8, now black's winning. But the black king's on F7, so white's threatening this. That's annoying. And if you play king G8, now you really lose. And you could also play king H7, which is the same. King H7, and now I play king F6 with the same idea. You play king G8 and I take. So the answer is white's winning, but after G7, if black finds the really strong move king G8, you have to find king G4, and then you have to find takes and king up. So not easy to win. Tougher than winning is remembering how to set it up, because the pawns are funny on the G file. So actually, black's defending really well to draw, but it doesn't quite work. Again, for a computer, it's just made in whatever. Less than 20 seconds. It goes really well. But it's not very helpful in explaining it. It's not like Ben Simon. Am I Ben? Okay. You've already seen that. It's your only hope. Okay. So, again, it's white's move. White's going up. Otherwise, easy to solve. And white's obviously closer to the pawns than black. In fact, white's already defending the B pawn. So white has a very obvious winning method. And if white takes the pawn, white's king is 3 squares in front of his pawn, breaking my rule of being 2 squares in front. So if we play the most obvious moves ever, which is your forte, somewhere, doesn't matter. Obviously, white's winning. White's super winning because king's 3 squares in front of the pawn. Okay. And black would prefer not to lose. If you remember the first puzzle, Claudio wasn't here, so he doesn't. So he doesn't remember it because he wasn't here. In the first puzzle, it was a draw because the guy who's trying to draw gave his opponent lots of pawns on the side, H pawns. In this situation, black wants to try to draw by giving white an A pawn. If white had an A pawn and not a B pawn, it's all a draw. You agree? Okay. So you have to realize when you make a move, black's going to try to give his pawn away. Okay. So if we stop that with the king, we're not fast enough. Okay, and I'll show you because I'm a nice guy. Here, here, here. And you're not fast enough to draw. Okay, so you can't play king b1, you have to play king c2. And I told you how black is going to draw, so black plays a4. Okay. Now, I told you black was going to play a3 because black's going to play a3. If black doesn't play a3, he just helped white. White's going to play king takes a4 and win. And he didn't move his king over, so terrible. So you know black's going to play a3. So if you play the obvious move, king c3, black plays. I told you, a3. And if you're like, oh, taking's a draw, I have a side pawn. I know, I'll play b3, and then this pawn can't queen, which is correct. Unfortunately, it's very hard to win that pawn. It looks easy, but it's not. Okay, you can't play king b4 because you'll lose. And if Ken West was here, I have a lot of jokes, but he's not here. So this is now a draw because the only way for white to win the pawn is to retreat like a Frenchman, and you don't even win the pawn. I thought you did win the pawn, but you don't. It's actually funny. Exclam. Every legal move draws, all of them, for both sides at every position. Okay, so that's an incredible draw, and the reason is king c3 does nothing. In fact, if black plays a3 and white plays b3, I would rather have my king on c2. Then I could play king b1 quickly. Now, you could also try to win, because you're probably thinking, what about b4? And I go take the pawn. Well, unfortunately, your pawn's on b4. That's not where you want it. If you remember the previous puzzles, the guy who was defending was trying to make his opponent's pawn go up so his king wouldn't get in front. So now easy draw, because white's king doesn't get in front. And black plays king b6 next move. Okay, draw. Okay, so if king c3 doesn't win, and you want to win the a pawn, you must always play, it's a rule I have, king b1. Yeah. Which is very funny, because if you played king b1 in the starting position, you don't win, because the black pawn was on a5. Now the black pawn's on a4, so the only way to win is to play king c2 and then king b1. Solid. Okay? And actually, you just keep repeating, and the opponent resigns because always repeat. But none of them got it. Maybe Julian. Maybe. Exactly. And now, the Feingold rule takes effect. Good rule. And white's king is 2 squares in front of the pawn. The only drawing move is king takes pawn. That's more cheating than even I can do. Every other legal move and illegal move loses. King takes pawn. Although king b4 is the opposition. Nothing. Terrible. Can you believe that? Yeah. All right, so to repeat, always repeat. King c2, king b1. Only way to win. And the a4 is the only move. Otherwise, it's too easy. And people who play king c3 quickly, what did you think black was going to play? Like, he's going to play a3. Then king c3 does nothing. But king b1, now a3 does nothing. And here, what's the winning move? I think there's only one winning move. I think the other move wins. What? What is it? b3 wins. I think b4 doesn't win. There, carry the 1. Maybe it does. I can't count that quickly. You're younger than me. Count it. There, carry the 1. There. That looks like a draw. If it wins, it doesn't matter. White's winning anyway. Rawr. But b3 wins easily. b4, very suspicious. Okay. Now you guys will all play these perfectly. All right. Now, this is sort of a puzzle, but it's the answer to a puzzle. This is the answer. But I can't tell you the name of the puzzle because then you'll know what the right moves are. No, they still won't know. Okay, so Anna Zatonsky, many times U.S. Women's Champion, who is currently playing in the Women's World Championship for the U.S. team. Is she currently playing? That's been over for 2 weeks. And it's like round 3 now. No, what I'm saying is, will this video be published while they're still playing the tournament? That tournament's been over for weeks. There's 50-50. Okay, now, Anna gave me a puzzle, and she said set up a position where one side has 3 pawns, the other side has nothing. None of the pawns are doubled or tripled, they're all in different files. It's the side with the 3 pawns to move, and it's still a draw. And it took me a very long time to figure out the position, and this is the position. I figured it out eventually, but you don't want to know how long it took me. She asked me several years ago. Okay, and what's funny is, if this pawn is on A2, then white's winning. Chess is hard. And there's another position where you draw, which is the other side of the board, the same position in a mirror. Okay, so here it's white's turn to play, but with correct play, it's a draw. Which is amazing, because white's up 3 pawns and it's his move. Okay, now let's see who's man enough and or woman enough to raise their hand and try to draw me with black. It is a draw. I can't beat you if you play correctly. I got nothing. Why aren't you raising your hand? Is this easy for you? Do you know the answer? Oh, then you could get it wrong if you were like 800 points worse. All right, so you. Oh, yeah, I'm playing white. Yeah. No. Yeah, the only move that draws. And if it's black's move in this position, black's losing. Both sides are in Zugzwang. That's why the pawn has to be on A3. If the pawn's on A2, we do the same thing, and I play A3. Okay, now you guys are all confused, which, I mean, you showed up confused, so nothing changed. And you're wondering why this doesn't draw. But Julian's not going to tell you. I'm going to ask the rest of the class. Let's call in a random student. Claudio. How does white win? King A4. These random students are pretty high rated. Okay, and then after king takes pawn here. It's obviously a Simpsons joke, right? You know the Simpsons episode? No? Yeah. Yeah, Superintendent Chalmers is doing an inspection. He wants to see if the kids are smart. And Principal Skinner says, let's call in a random student, Lisa Simpson. She's the random student. All right, and then we have to keep stopping the black king, and now we've stopped them enough. And now these are our next moves. Pretty good moves. Yeah. Okay, so after king b2, king b5, now it's a draw. Because if white plays a4, it's very hard to play king a4 next move. You can do it, but it's hard. Yeah, then white's doing well. And this is a draw. I would go and then my pawn would still be there. Yeah. Man, you play like the kids in my last game. Exactly like them. Yeah. All right, so this is a draw because black can get put white in a Zugzwang position. Usually when you're down 3 pawns, and you guys know what I'm talking about. Well, Claudia. Although Claudia was down a lot of material in the last game. Were you playing? Yeah, Grabinski was a lot of material up, man. So he does know what I'm talking about. Yeah, then you can still draw sometimes if you're very lucky. Okay, least but not last. Now, I've shown this many times, but you forgot. If you take away the F and the G pawn, this is a well-known triangulation position. Okay? However, this ain't triangulation. This is real life. Okay? This actually happened. The triangulation position is just theory. This is practice. Incorrect. Go to your room. This was the 2007, I'm close, U.S. Women's Championship. It might have been 2006 or 8. I don't remember. It was one of them. I think 7. And I know the players. Chimichanga was white. That's what we called her. She went back to Mongolia. She played for the U.S. and she's Mongolian. Now she plays for Mongolia. Okay, her name is like Batchameg Tovshinpig. And I'm not kidding. That is her name. Yeah, we call her Chimmy, and this also isn't a joke, but it sounds like one. We went to a Mexican restaurant during the tournament. She did order chimichangas. We got a picture because we called her Chimmy. So yeah. Well, I thought she was the. Oh, that's what you said. Okay, so she was white against Zenyuk. Zenyuk, a famous endgame player, and White was winning, and then White was up in exchange and then lost it to get this position. Anyway, the game was really taking a long time. The game was at least 6 hours long. And Zenyuk was very happy now because she thought it was a draw. And so she was like, la, 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 la. And her opponent's like, stop saying la, 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 la. Okay? And that's based on a true story. Yeah. My son was directing a kids tournament. He was the floor director for a million kids. So kids would raise their hand and say whatever the dumbest thing possible is. And he would go up and he would settle disputes. So a kid raised his hand, and Spencer went over. This is over 10 years ago. And the kid said, my opponent is saying la, 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 la. And Spencer was like, what? Okay, that actually didn't happen this game, but it could have. Okay, so Zenyuk was like this, like, come on, this game's over. And they moved their king around forever and drew. Now, with these pawns gone, the way you win is by making a triangle with your king. Okay? And you can't do that because king f4 is illegal. So with the pawns gone, this is a well-known win. With those pawns, it's an unknown position that was first played in this game. And so white tried to triangulate, but you can't triangulate. Now, if you play very straightforward, okay, then black plays g4, you take it in stalemate, or as many of my students have said, you go here and then black. And they're like, oh. So losing is not good. Okay. And so white knows that's a draw. And so white kept moving her king around, hoping to get this position with black to move. However, you've never been so mad. However, the way to win is not to triangulate. There's another way to win. Okay? And actually the way to win is to get this position with black to move. However, white has an unnecessary thing on the board. Very unnecessary. It's your favorite pawn. You don't need it. You're like, that's my favorite pawn. F6 pawn, that's the one you're going to queen. You got to get rid of that. Yeah, because you're not used to queening. You're like, I got to have even material. Yeah. So after the obvious move, king e5, king f8, I can't make those. But it had to do with an umsul. So I can't make the slew or the umsul joke. Yeah. Well, I could. You'll just edit it out. Yeah. Okay, or you won't. No, the truth hurts. Okay. Now, when the game ended, they were signing the score sheets, and that took a long time because Bachemeg to Shintugs. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. In fact, that's why she was so high rated, and that's why Esmai Parashvili and Mama Jar were so high rated. Their opponents lose on time writing the name of the score sheet. Like Shakhriyar, Mohammed, flag. Dang! Oh, God. Okay. Esmai Parashvili's opponent's only hope is his first name Zurab. That's only 5 letters. Okay. So after the game was done, they were signing the score sheets. There was a race between Golko and Irina Krush to show them the win. I actually don't know who won the race. They ran to the board and said, "Rawr, white's winning, rawr." Okay. And in this position, the winning move, which I kept telling you, is, you want to answer, so you. F7. Right, no, never thought of F7, never. Didn't occur to them at all. Also, black just thought, yeah, draw. And then like F7, black's like, oh yeah, that wins. Yeah. Neither player saw F7. Because that's the pawn you don't give away. That's the pawn you're going to queen. You got to give that away. Now, you all know the position with an empty board where there's white pawns here and here, and there's a black king here, and black's just moving his king back and forth. The only way to win is to sacrifice your advanced pawn to avoid stalemate, which is what you're doing here. You sacrifice your advanced pawn, and now we get that position we wanted. You don't need the F pawn. We're going to take all the other pawns. And then I think it's called shouldering, but I don't know. And we win! Hooray! And you take all the pawns. So like the computer announces mate in like 1 second, and in the game though draws. I keep counting and I keep getting 7. You said less than 7. 7-piece table base in 2007? Incorrect! Right? I'm correct, right? Yeah, not in 2007. Even now you have to like pay for it, or if you have the right phone. This is the wrong phone. The Apple, if you have an Android, you can get 7-piece on your phone free. Yeah, unless they changed it and added to the iPhone. Yeah. But my friend did. He was like, I had 7-piece table base and it's free. I was like, what? I can get 7-piece table based on the internet. Oh, that's okay. I've never paid for software. I mean, I pay legally for all my software. So you're shocked and appalled that White didn't even think or try F7. You can't even believe it. You've never blundered in your life. No, I know what you mean. Oh man, this game went on a long time. White was like king d4, king e4, king d5, and there was never a win. Tried everything but f7. Now, a lot of my students try f4 at some point. At some point. Right? And then you take it. It has to draw, right? Because, oh no, it doesn't have to draw. In fact, I think it has to win. No, but this definitely draw. I guarantee this draws. Yeah. G4 might lose that. Yeah, I need my king back on here. F7. What? King e6. I loses e6. This isn't winning? Maybe king g3 is better. Probably. So I want to play king f3 after king f5, so I'm going to go around the vitamins. Simpsons joke. This might win, I don't know, but I know taking on f4 draws. Yeah, in fact, black's probably winning the pawn. Black's going to be up a pawn. Yeah. So f4 never works as you take it, and you got nothing. And now, in this position, now you can try f4, and now again, black's looking good. It's a draw, but I'll take black. It's a draw. So yeah, just f7 in any position wins. After White was trying all that stuff, just f7 at some point. But never. King f8, f7 doesn't win. It's White's move. Ah, you mean but king f8, king g6 resigns. So that's never going to happen. Yeah. Black's never going to get this bishop to play king f8, then White already won. Yeah. Horrible. Yeah, they should never let you teach a class. I hope you never have. All right. You guys at home don't know why that's funny, but we do. Yeah. All right, and as Julian forgot to say at the end of his class is dismissed.